got that mile high magic. You can feel it in the air, in the altitude. Feel it when you can't breathe.
Life in a barrel. Life in a barrel. Life in a barrel.
What it do, Broncos country, and welcome to Life in a Barrel. And inspired by the legacy of the late Broncos superfan Tim Barrelman McKernan, we seek to give you raw, educated, unfiltered Denver Broncos news, takes, and opinions. As always, I'm your host. I go by the name of Town, and joining me every week, my partner in crime, my brother. Please welcome Tariq Hatchet Young to the show. Ooh, okay, he hitting the dance. Let's hey.
Gonna turn up in this mug.
You got to turn up. That's right. We celebrating NFL draft, baby. No, honestly, it's my favorite time of year.
Exactly. I ain't even had to say nothing. The face said it all.
Yep.
NFL draft just finished up. We got a lot to say.
We got a lot to say. There's going to be some influxes of new jerseys coming to the Denver Broncos locker room. But let me go ahead and capitalize on that, because when I say Denver Broncos jerseys, I immediately got to jump to our Denver Broncos jersey giveaway, which is happening when our YouTube page reaches 100 subscribers. We're climbing up. I see we got some new subscribers in there. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the crew.
Keep sharing it with your mama, your baby daddy, your baby mama. It don't matter. Just keep sharing it. I know y'all want that jersey. If you like free, you obviously gotta like free. I don't know what I'm talking about. Then tell your peoples, get one of these. Well, not one of these ones, but a new Broncos jersey, a new one.
A new one. And hey, I'm talking, if you want to get the number one draft pick for the Broncos this year, Tyler Onyedem, now would be your opportunity. Courtesy of Life in a Barrel.
Jalen Waddle was our first round draft pick, to be honest.
If we speak in semantics here, I guess, yeah, you're right. You know what? Yeah, you want to get a Jalen Waddle jersey? Now's your opportunity.
Exactly.
But oh man, before we get into breaking down what happened with the Broncos in the NFL draft this past weekend, Reek, we're gonna step outside of Broncos country for a minute, man. There was some interesting happenings that happened during the first round of the NFL draft that I feel like we got to talk about. They involve the Dallas Cowboys, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and wide receiver Makai Lemon. I don't quite know how to describe this other than interesting. So you have Dallas on the clock with the 20th pick, right? Pittsburgh has the 21st pick of the draft. And they know Dallas is not looking for a receiver. So they know that they're good to contact Makai Lemon, the receiver that they want to draft. And when they contact him, they're on the phone with him. All of a sudden, Makai's agent is running in, forcing him to hang up the phone with the Steelers, handing him a phone with the Eagles, saying they just traded for you. Pittsburgh was about to get their receiver, and Dallas decided to trade their number one pick to a division rival to allow them to get another receiving weapon.
What are we doing? First of all, I gotta get this off my chest. As a division rival, you're trading Philly and Dallas is the most. They fucking hate each other. They go at each other's necks so crazy. And Dallas decided to accept a trade from them. I'm sorry. The Broncos would never do such thing. Just saying it out loud. To make a trade with your division rival is crazy work. And Philly, I get it. They both in Pennsylvania. Philly moving shiesty. They said when you get lemons, you obviously gotta make lemonade. So
yep. And that's that was a good one. I like that. But no, that's exactly what they did, man. They traded to a division rival to allow them to shit on their in-state rival. But it goes a little deeper when you look at it. Do you know who the new Pittsburgh Steelers coach is?
Mm. McCarthy. Isn't it McCarthy?
It sure is.
Well, sheesh. My whole thing on the situation is you don't want to help your division rival get better. So if Makai Lemon goes off on the Dallas Cowboys this year, they're gonna know why.
I mean, not just this year. He plays them twice a year for the foreseeable
Rest of his
future.
career, more than likely. So
No, that was some crazy shit, man. I was genuinely surprised by those happenings there. But it turns out now that Pittsburgh is now under investigation for calling Makai Lemon when they were not on the clock, and it's like a rule where you can contact a player as long as it doesn't affect somebody on the clock. But in that they weren't doing that in that situation because Dallas was on the clock, but then Philly's on the clock, and now it was interfering with somebody on the clock. So now they're under investigation for that.
they're tampering going crazy.
Bro, there's a whole different game being played on draft night.
And you can see his face too, that he didn't look very happy.
Yeah, he was, talking to Pittsburgh, getting it settled on after months of, having it up in the air where you're going to go. I finally have an answer. I'm going to Pittsburgh. I'm going to go play with Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. Oh, I have to hang up on them now because Philadelphia just traded and jumped the Steelers to get me.
Well, he got Jalen Hurts now. So
Jalen Hurts, and let me tell you, AJ Brown, that trade is, especially with the whole Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini thing going on. It's a whole.
There might be tampering with that one too.
Yeah, there might be, but enough with the bullshit shenanigans going on around the NFL, man. We talk about the Denver Broncos here. And this past weekend was the NFL draft, or like we've been talking, and the Denver Broncos 2026 haul was an interesting one with no first round picks due to the Jalen Waddle trade. Like Reek said, basically our first round pick this year was Jalen Waddle. Broncos' first pick was in the second round, the third to last pick, number 62. But they decided to trade that pick, Reek. Denver sent pick number 62 to Buffalo to move back 4 spots to number 66 and pick up an additional 6th round pick in the draft. What are your thoughts on trading back?
They traded back because the tight ends they wanted were gone.
Mm-hmm.
They thought they had their guys waiting there because, at the end, they were there for the longest. And then them last 5 to 10 picks, that's when they got picked up and they were like, hey, let's take some more time to assess who we really want. So let's make a trade with Buffalo. I mean, I don't blame them. It's smart on their end instead of them rushing into drafting somebody that they really didn't want. So they actually took the time to move back and assess who they thought was best for them.
Yeah. The tight ends, I absolutely agree with that. The tight ends went off the board sooner than they were anticipating.
Speaking of that too, I almost forgot. The Rams, y'all got 8 motherfucking tight ends. Y'all didn't need another one. You got Terrence Ferguson already. you didn't need old boy from Ohio State. You didn't need him. You already got hella tight ends. Y'all in Tampa Bay be doing this shit to us every year.
Mm-hmm.
Every year.
Rams made a few questionable decisions during this draft. I'll say that. But like we were talking about, they trade back, get an additional 6th round pick. And now with their very first pick in the draft being round 3, pick number 66, the Denver Broncos select Tyler Onyedum, defensive tackle out of Texas A&M. Reek, what are your thoughts on this pick?
Had to find somebody to potentially replace John Franklin Myers. So, hey, I don't know too much on him. I know he played at Texas A&M last year. They obviously had a great year considering they got to the college football playoff. I'm expecting big things. You come from Texas A&M, give Von Miller a call. That's where he went to.
Yep.
Learn a thing or two from him.
Yep, and Von, he loves Broncos country. He'd be more than willing to help out.
Yes.
But I did a little research on the kid after he got drafted. We have the 6'4", 295-pound 5th-year senior who transferred from Iowa State to Texas A&M for 2025. He had career highs of 48 tackles, 8.5 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks, and he's still relatively young. He turns 23 in May. In 5 collegiate seasons, he has never missed a game. So that's something we need on our defensive line. He has genuine first step quickness and long arms that he uses to attack edges and shoot gaps. Plays with good leverage and active hands, and versatile, man. He plays anywhere from the 0 to the 7 technique for the Aggies. So, Vance Joseph is going to find a place for him.
That's the type of guy you want that can play from a 0 to a 7.
In terms of his weaknesses, pass rush might be one, man. 290 plus pass rush snaps in 2025, and he only generated 17 pressures. So that's he might be a liability on passing downs, man. He might literally just be the John Franklin Myers replacement to stuff the run.
And in due time, we're coming into the league. You'll have some great guys to learn from. Zach Allen, of course. He said that he compares his game to him. I seen that. And then, he can learn from Benito and Jonathan Cooper. So only time will tell. He's going to be a rookie. Just go out there and make the most out of your opportunities. That's the best thing I can say.
Definitely. I can picture him being out there as like a first and second down run defender and, have DJ Jones in there for the pass ones. DJ Jones is a fucking monster, man.
A dog. He just happens to fall every time he gets a fumble, but, I won't comment on it.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, that brings us to the next Denver Broncos pick, which is round 4, pick 108. Jonah Coleman, the running back out of Washington. And this is the one that Reek landed last week on his top 10 list. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor and your opinion on this pick.
I'm glad one of my picks was actually selected. Yes, Jonah Coleman. Welcome to Broncos country. I'm excited for this man. He looks forward to protecting Bo Nix. When he said that, right away I knew that's our guy. Excellent in pass protection. You need a running back like that. I was watching some highlights the other night. Dog, he was fighting with the best of them, especially with Ohio State. He put Sonny Styles on his pockets. That's what I like to see. That man is willing to do all the dirty work, and it's going to help Bo stay protected to where he doesn't have to run and risk getting injury. I love it. Thank you. Let's make some noise.
Definitely. I want to add some context to this pick. There was a move that the Denver Broncos made last year that a lot of Broncos country was really kind of upset about. It was right at cut day. And it was trading Devon Vele to the Saints, where we got a 4th rounder in exchange. And Reek, that was this pick.
Good move. Vele, I liked him on the Broncos, but we had a lot of talent at receiver, and you gotta find somebody that's going to add worth to your team. And, New Orleans was like, oh, yeah, we'll take them because, we're basically family now when it comes to us in New Orleans.
Yeah, definitely.
So, it worked out best. I think it was the right trade. I think we got the guy we need, especially if JK goes down or who knows, the running back room is just not up to par. Who says Jonah's not going to make no noise? Yeah. I have all the faith in him.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to our cousins in New Orleans. Jonah Coleman brings in a 5'8", 220-pound bowling ball frame. Started at Arizona, and he followed head coach Jed Fish to Washington, where in 2025 he had 758 yards, 15 touchdowns, averaged nearly 5 yards a carry across 12 games. 2-time All Big Ten honorable mention, 552 carries, and 1 fumble in his career. That is insane. Contact, balance, and yards after contact are all his calling cards. He's a genuine 3-down back, 87 career catches, and a willing pass protector, ranked 4th in all of college football on pass blocking grade. He's a patient zone scheme runner with vision between the tackles. And in 2024, he averaged more than 5 yards a carry behind an offensive line that ranked 105th nationally in run blocking. He finds ways to get it done.
Exactly. A lot of Broncos country talks like how they say they miss a guy like Javonte Williams. This is a perfect guy to compare him to.
Yep.
He's not easy to get tackled, heavy set guy, trying to run people over. He may not get 60-yard touchdown runs, but he gonna run somebody over in the process.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's agreeable. And that was, the only knock on him is his lack of top end speed. But when you're that big and you're just running people over, you're going to wear the defense out faster than chasing somebody would, I think. So, and his route tree is also limited to kind of underneath stuff. He's not going to burn you deep down the field as a receiving threat. He did play through some nagging injuries the past couple years, and his production dropped as the season went on. But I don't think that's going to be an issue with Denver, because we're going to have a 3-headed monster and in the running back room. And if one person goes down, we have the depth to manage it now, which I fucking love, man. This singular pick changed the entire outlook of the running back room.
Absolutely.
But all right, Reek, we are going to go ahead and move on to our second 4th round pick, which was 3 picks later at 111. We took Cage Casey, offensive tackle, though he was announced as a guard, out of Boise State. What are your thoughts on this one?
There's nothing wrong with adding more depth to the offensive line. I've been hearing murmurs and little rumors or whatever. Basically, Ben Powers is about to be in his final year of his contract, so that position is going to be up for grabs, especially if he doesn't impress the Broncos front office. So,
yep,
like I said, nothing wrong with adding more depth. Seen a little bit of film on him the other day too. Man can block his ass off. I give him that.
Yeah, he definitely can. I want to add a little context to this pick as well. This was the 4th rounder that we received from Miami in the Jalen Waddle trade.
I'm going back to Miami. I can't complain. I think first we had a great draft. Now journalists might say different, but for the start of this, I think we started off pretty well.
Definitely. Especially in the 4th round, getting a 6'6", 310, 22-year-old left tackle. 3-year starting left tackle at Boise State, mind you. 41 consecutive starts, 2-time first team all Mountain West, 2nd team All-American in 2024, allowed just 6 sacks across 1,351 career snaps, 0 in 2024. He was once mocked as a potential 1st rounder before slipping back due to arm length concerns. But outside of that, he has elite preparation, and he's a weight room machine. He's very cerebral, strong hands, square base, anchors well in pass protection, athletic enough to reach his own landmarks and pull on gap runs. He's durable, man. He's never missed a start.
Hell yeah. That's what we like. Man, we gave up 6 sacks. I don't understand the thing about when it comes to the combine where they try to give you shit about your arm length and everything. Like, if you're a dog, you're a dog. Like, not everybody can be in control of their genetics. It just happens.
Yeah, so he don't have the arm length to play tackle. You're going to have to move him to guard. But, I mean, honestly, it does seem like the Broncos really are trying to have him either serve as a reserve behind Bowles or McGlinchey, or to take over, in 2027 for Ben Powers, which is, it's a nice little development path for a rookie to come in and kind of have it set where you need to go.
And learn from some of the best in the game. That's the way I see it.
All right. We are going to go ahead and move on to round 5, where the Broncos traded with Cleveland, giving up their 5th round pick and the 6th round pick that they got earlier from Buffalo for our 2nd round pick. And we draft tight end Justin Joly out of North Carolina State. Reek, what are your thoughts on Justin Joly?
More tight end depth. I was told that he, as a tight end, he's on the smaller side when it comes to tight end, but he's a dog. I seen a clip. I don't know if you've seen it too. He caught the ball. I don't know if he got hurt, started limping down the field and scored.
He put the team on his back.
Put the team on his back. It didn't matter. That injury wasn't stopping him from scoring. I like dogs all around on the team. So, like I said, I don't know too much about him, but that shows me that he a dog.
Yeah. He's a dog, man. He channeled his inner Greg Jennings for that. I did see that clip. That was hilarious, by the way. He's a 6'3", 241-pound tight end, Senior Bowl MVP. He started at UConn, transferred to NC State, has 116 catches, nearly 2,000 yards and 15 touchdowns in his career. He's a smart route runner who finds soft spots in the zone. He's versatile with where you can line him up. You can line him up, on the line. You can slot, backfield, spread him out. And he's a willing pass protector. He slid a little bit, man. A lot of scouts had him as a 3rd or 4th round grade. But like you said, he's undersized. Run blocking is more just like, let me get in the way than actually drive somebody off the ball. He could be the Joker role, but he needs to learn first.
Oh yeah, he definitely could learn. But I can also see him being a very sneaky player if Sean Payton uses him right. Throws him in random, say he's not getting too much playing time. He ain't in the scouting report. Just randomly throw him out there, catch him off guard.
Yeah, no, exactly. And, he's I could picture him doing some stuff that he did with, Taysom Hill or Jimmy Graham or Jeremy Shockey out in New Orleans, something like that to get the tight end involved. And I hope he does.
Hell yeah.
Because, Justin Jolie is an immediate matchup piece for Bo Nix on 3rd down and in the red zone. So if we can get him involved, let's do it.
My point exactly. Let's do it.
We can do that shit.
Do that.
All right, Reek, we are going to go ahead and move into round 7, where the Broncos had 3 picks. 2 of them were compensatory picks. And ironically, the Broncos had the last 2 picks of the draft. But we're going to go ahead and talk about the first of 3, pick 246, safety, Miles Scott out of Illinois. What's your thoughts on this one, Reek?
I heard he was Pat Bryant's teammate. It's good to get some more chemistry in the building. We definitely need a safety. I'm surprised we didn't look for that earlier in the draft. Don't know too much on him. I can honestly see him being a backup safety, just learning from Brandon Jones and Hufanga. So maybe some special teams opportunities out there. We'll just have to see.
Definitely. He's a 6 foot, 200-pound safety. He has a 37.5-inch vertical. 2-time team captain in Illinois, wore the green dot for the defense, played 55 games in his career, started 37 of his last 38, 182 tackles, 7 interceptions, 2 pick sixes, 11 pass breakups, all Big Ten honorable mention last year. He did start college as a wide receiver and converted to safety in spring, so he ain't been playing on the defensive side of the ball that long. But that adds to his elite ball skills as a safety. He could track the ball. His biggest knock, he's slow. He runs a 4.62 40.
Yeah, that's slow for a safety. That's
slow. Yeah, very slow, but Broncos are willing to take a flyer on him, see how he develops. He's going to be pure depth. I don't think he's going to be getting many special teams opportunities with Tyson Anderson and Devin Key holding it down the way they do already. But you never know, because he could be competing for a 3rd safety spot or like a dime safety.
Anything can happen, yeah. Hearing that news on that 40 kind of scares me a little bit, not gonna lie.
No, I feel you there, man. I feel you. But we're going to go ahead and move on to the second 7th round pick that the Broncos had. The second to last pick of the draft. And for the second consecutive year, the Broncos are taking a Utah tight end in the 7th round. And I'm talking about Dallin Bentley. What are your thoughts on this pick?
More tight end depth. Somebody's time on the offense might be on the clock. One of them tight ends we've just re-signed.
Yeah, you never know. Kid has a wild backstory, though. He was a walk-on at Snow Junior College after barely playing high school football at all. He caught just 3 passes in 2 seasons at Utah before a senior year breakout. 48 catches, 620 yards, 6 touchdowns. 3rd-team All-Big 12, Mackey Award semifinalist. He has the size of a tight end. He's a true wide tight end. Has reliable hands, no drops last year. Strong zone instincts, zone monster is what some scouts called him. Solid athletic testing too. He runs a 4.62, 8th among tight ends, and he's a willing blocker.
Oh yeah. Oh, somebody's job's definitely in jeopardy then. He could do all that. Somebody's job's in jeopardy.
It's the lack of athleticism that is the biggest knock on him, though. Like he builds to speed rather than separating at the break and struggles versus man. And like he's a willing blocker. It doesn't mean he's a good blocker.
In due
So
time, it's all about development once you get to the NFL.
definitely, I as much as I don't like our tight end room, I don't see him pushing anybody for a job. Right now, I think he's more of a practice squad. Let's see what you do. And if he does push anybody for a job, it's going to be his former teammate Caleb Lohner in the tight end room.
Or potentially being on special teams.
Yeah. That brings us, Reek, to our third and final 7th round pick. And I am talking about Mr. Irrelevant.
257.
Red Murdoch, linebacker out of Buffalo. What are your thoughts on this one?
I like this pick. If he turns out the way I think he's going to, then we got the steal of the draft. This man, in his couple years at Buffalo, had 17 forced fumbles, like 140 tackles in both of his last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
He is the definition of going all in on himself. He could have transferred to any Power 4 conference, but decided to stay at Buffalo. I hope he brings that competitiveness into the linebacking room, because I can see if his game develops like it should, just from the film I saw, he can definitely be starting on this team.
He's always around the ball. That's what I saw.
Always around the ball.
His film is crazy. He's a 6'2", 230-pound linebacker, 2-time first team All-MAC, second team All-American in 2025, team captain, nearly 300 career tackles, 30 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, 17 forced fumbles, FBS record, by the way. Like all of FBS college football, he has the most forced fumbles of all time. He broke the record held by Khalil Mack, who also went to Buffalo.
His OG.
Like I was talking about earlier, he's always around the football. Tackling machine, forced fumble production is not a fluke. That man is always punching at the ball, man. It's baked into who he is, and I love that shit.
All get ball.
Yep, exactly. His weaknesses are his coverage, and he's a little below average athletically for a 3-down role. People question the competition that he played against in the MAC, but I mean, football is football. There's a real role to Mr. Irrelevant making the 53-man roster this year. With Dre Greenlaw gone, with us re-signing Alex Singleton and moving Justin Sternad up, it leaves a big hole. And I feel like this could he's likely just playing special teams and maybe getting a few rotational snaps this year.
And if he goes make those type of plays on special teams, he'll be a household name for years to come.
That's the 7 Denver Broncos that we picked up in the draft. Just to recap, round 3, defensive tackle Tyler Onyedum out of Texas A&M. Round 4, pick 108, Jonah Coleman, running back out of Washington. Round 4, pick 111, Cage Casey, offensive tackle out of Boise State. Round 5, pick 152, Justin Jolie, tight end out of North Carolina State. Round 7, pick 246, Miles Scott, safety out of Illinois. Round 7, Dallin Bentley, tight end out of Utah. And then finally, Mr. Irrelevant, round 7, pick 257, Red Murdoch, linebacker out of Buffalo. So, Reek, with those 7 picks as a whole, how do you think the Broncos did?
If I was to give it a grade, I'll give us a B.
Okay.
I'm not going to say it was a perfect draft, but, I think it was good enough for the depth pieces we needed. Still curious to see if we end up contacting some free agents, because, that's what we did last year too. I'll give us a B for now. We'll see how it translates into the regular season, but I'm excited.
I am too. If I had to give it a grade, I would honestly say, a C+. With your first pick in the 3rd round, you're not going to pick any game changers and like any true like superstars right off the bat. A lot of these guys are going to need to come in. They're going to develop, and you're going to see how it goes. This has been a very scrutinized draft class.
Oh, yeah.
People have called it ass. I'm going to be honest with you.
One of the weakest draft classes. Yeah, I believe it. But I think there's a lot of diamonds in the rough.
For sure. And my pushback on that would be it's not the best draft for the sexy positions.
especially quarterback. I don't care if his name is Fernando, Commando, Orlando, Broncos in 2.
Broncos with the sweep.
It don't matter. I don't care if he's a corny Florida kid that always smiles and looks like he's crying. It don't matter. He gonna have to get some attitude if he gonna play over there in Vegas, but we're gonna make sure we hand him that belt.
I'm a be 100% honest with you. I think what Vegas is building right now is concerning. Give it a year under Kubiak and an ownership group that sounds like they're willing to be patient and let things develop with this coaching staff.
If they do it the right way. I think the only way they succeed is if they truly give Tom Brady the keys to show them what it takes to become a championship franchise again. Now, if they just throw Tom Brady out of the equation and don't listen to shit he says or anything, I think they're in trouble because their owner, I don't think he's fully capable of running the team and doesn't know what's best for the team. I think Tom Brady coming in and having part ownership is going to be their saving grace.
Well, before we get too deep on the Raiders, man, we're going to do a whole episode dedicated to divisional rosters and what we think they're going to do this year. But let's get back to the Broncos. I want to touch on our undrafted free agents because we picked up 14 of them boys. So I want to run them by you. We picked up 5 wide receivers. We have Dane Key out of Nebraska, Cam Ross out of Virginia, Sean Brown out of Charlotte, Joseph Manjack IV, it's a hell of a name, out of TCU, and Colby Katzis out of Northern Arizona. For the offensive line room, we have Tyler Miller, offensive tackle out of Iowa State, and Gavin Ortega out of Weber State. For the defensive line room, we have Dasan McCullough, edge out of Nebraska, and Torian York, linebacker out of Texas A&M. For the defensive back room, we have Amari Harvey out of Georgia Tech, Brent Austin out of Cal, Will Wright out of Tennessee, Parker Robinson, safety out of Oklahoma State, and then we got a long snapper, Luke Basso out of Oregon. What are your thoughts on the undrafted free agents this year?
I don't know none of them individuals, but shout out to y'all. Welcome to Broncos country. If Chris Harris can do it, y'all can do it.
Denver has had some historic success making rosters and actually contributing from undrafted free agents. It's part of their legacy. It's part of who they are. You know, Denver's undrafted class is better than it looks on paper. Like the headline names are Texas A&M linebacker Torian York, Iowa State offensive tackle Tyler Miller, and Weber State offensive lineman Gavin Ortega. All 3 were guys that most people thought were going to get drafted. York reportedly picked Denver over Detroit. Miller and Ortega are enormous and athletic, exactly the type of lineman the Broncos love to develop. And, you know, the rest shows a clear plan. 5 receivers signed. Sean Payton loves his big receivers, man. Colby Katz is more of a return guy, speedy guy. Defense, you have 4 defensive backs, so including slot corner Amari Harvey, who fits the mold of past Denver gems like Chris Harris and Jaquan McMillan. The catch here is the roster's mostly full. They only had 10 slots to do this, and they signed 14 people. So some of these guys are only just getting a tryout. But like I was talking about, Denver has a real history of turning undrafted free agencies into real contributors. And York and Miller are the 2 that are likely going to keep that streak going.
All hands on deck. You know, it's an opportunity to go out there, make the most of it. I know it could be hard not hearing your name called, but hey, a lot of those guys, like I said, Chris Harris Jr., he worked his ass off to get to where he was and became a Super Bowl champion. Anything is possible for any of you guys. You just got to want it more than the other person.
Yep, exactly. And Reek, that brings us to the end of the NFL draft. Before we head out of here, is there any place these folks can find you on social media?
Reek.season with 2 N's on the gram. Give your boy a follow, but most importantly, subscribe to the YouTube jersey. Brand new Broncos jerseys, not one of these old Reebok ones. Y'all can't get none of those, but we're gonna make sure we put y'all on some Nike at least. So do us a favor, support. Because when we get famous one day, we won't forget about y'all. I know I won't. So
you heard the man. Follow him at Reek.season on Instagram, but also go subscribe to that YouTube channel. It's your opportunity to win a Denver Broncos jersey, courtesy of your friendly neighborhood Denver Broncos podcast, Life in a Barrel. We are also on Instagram and TikTok at Life in a Barrel Pod, where we try to keep updated as much as possible with the content that, you know, podcasts are expected to put out nowadays. But as for me, I go by the name of Town. You can find me on all social medias at town.5280. And if you are listening on Spotify, please feel free to give us a rating and follow us. You know, it really helps the algorithm, helps really push us out. But we appreciate it. For Reek, for Town, for Broncos Country, we'll catch y'all next week. Peace.
Life in a